Hi everyone, this is Dr. Erdoğan by Smile Hair Clinic. Today I would like to share with you one of my patients that we had his operation 2 years ago, and we will be evaluating his first year result together. So our patient is Michael. He's 36 years old from UK. He has a history from 8 years back, a hair loss problem, and he used before some minoxidil spray for a while, but then he stopped. So he's not any current medication for the hair loss treatment. So I would like to share always the evaluation photos that the patient sent to us to compare with the photos that we have it in the clinic. So let's start with them first. His condition seems pretty much like androgenetic alopecia, which means the male pattern baldness, a receding hairline, both temporal parts are gone, the frontal parts appearance is a little bit weakened and thin. And in the photos here, you can see that you probably need for temporal area restoration and some increase in the frontal part. Also some crown area needed in the photos that he sent to us. So let's check to the clinic photos that we got. So comparing to the previous photos, as you can see, patient needs a little bit more than it is. By the way, when we draw the patient, we also see a little bit more accurate that the area that we're gonna restore. So it seems like the patient needs a little bit more for the central frontal part than it is in the evaluation photos. So we planned, as you see, with a nice hairline comparing to his existing hairline, and we just make a round hairline appearance. That's the most important part for this kind of patients, because if we have such limited graft number and we have a huge area, we always want to take the hairline as high as possible to create a higher density in some areas, because if you lower the line, we are extending and expanding the recipient side. So the total success rate or total density of the patient should be lower to create more areas. So that's something the way I like the hairline. So we create it like this, and now let's see what we did about the implantation part. So this is the frontal parts implantation. You see that the density is very desired, very nicely packed. So whenever we see this kind of density, with our experience, we know that the graft, the density of the patient will be very accurate in the end. In the both temporal areas, the density is good. In the central area, he had already hairs, and we protect those hairs, and we just increase the density of those areas. Also in the mid scalp, he needed some, and in the crown area too. If you are curious about the graft number, it is 4,350, by the way. So let's check his 13th day photos. This is one of the worst periods for the patient, because you have a shaved head, you have a transplanted area, some redness occurs in the frontal part, some redness in the backside. Patients always ask us about how they appear after the second week. They can go into the audience, they can walk through the streets. So this appearance is nice, I think, and we always tell patients after the 10th day, when they remove the crust, it appears much better. So at that time, they can easily walk in the audience without any curious eyes on them. Maybe just donor area seems a little bit more problematic for the patient at that time, because there is an inequality with the extraction and non-transplanted area. But other than that, it looks okay, I think. Some redness, okay. First month is also something like this. The patient loses most of the hairs that we transplanted, sometimes plus the existing hairs will be also lost at that time. So we don't see too much about that time, but third month we always want to we started to see some results with the patients, and they have this self-confidence, they are much better with the morally. So let's check them right now. Donor area healed perfect. There is any signs of any bad work in the back. You see the temporal parts started to grow as well. Okay, very nice. Good for third month, by the way. We expect such results at that time. By the way, it's not like a calendar date. It could be very different with the beginning of the third month, and it could be very different with the end of the third month. Sometimes it could be fourth as well. But around those times, we always started growth. So let's check his 6-month photo. At 6 months, patients are much more self-confident because it looks much better. With this patient, it looks very nicely, and as you see, he just blow away his hairs. Probably he like it, so he just have a longer hair, and he changed a lot. As you see, he changed a lot. It looks very good. Even this month's result will be very happy for patient. Okay, let's check his 9th month is pretty same too, so I'm skipping that. But let's check the 12-month photo. Wow, perfect. So it is incredible. It's incredible work, incredible hair, and not because I did, but it looks very good. I can't notice too much that he had a hair transplantation. He had a very nice hairstyle. He has a very good density. He achieved everything nicely. From top, it looks also good in the mid scalp, in the crown too. From sides, let's check how it looked like. Very natural by the direction of the hairs, which is very important. Direction, angle, graft selection in the forehead, the density. So when everything comes together, we have a nice result with the patient. Another aspect from the top also looks very good. I think patient should be not more happier than this because he changed a lot. If you compare the both photos, there is a super self-esteem that we can still see in the photos with him. So I think it's perfect. Donor area seems nothing. You can't notice that there is some graft extracted from there. Sometimes I'm so sorry to hear such surgeons say over some 4,000 or more grafting seems to be over harvested. No, they do the similar or more number in 2 sessions with 6,000, 7,000. So it's not over harvesting. No, over harvesting doesn't mean that. Over harvesting doesn't mean that once we take more grafting. If we can possibly extract more graft in 1 session, that's a better approach for the patient because he gets more at that time. Over harvesting means if you cannot get the extraction from the same area, not very homogeneous and not very in the same density, in the same pattern, then some areas will be seen worse than it is. It's not natural. So you can notice a over harvested area when you look at, because it looks very totally different. But grafting, more grafting doesn't mean over harvesting. So patients should be warned or informed about this carefully, because I'm having this sometimes with the patients when we talk with high graft numbers. We are working with high graft numbers in our clinic. They always say, is it not over harvesting? No, over harvesting doesn't mean that. Sorry, over harvesting means a poor and a bad work. High graft number could be you have a capacity of 8,000, 9,000, maybe 10,000 grafts in total, but you can take this in 2 sessions, in 6 sessions, or in 10 sessions with smaller sessions. So you have a capacity, and how many grafts it could be taken in 1 session is the important thing. So I'm so glad to share this patient with you, and thank you for watching us. If you still have some questions to us, please write on the comments and we will be answering them. Thank you so much.